User information. Visio.lign, clear anatomical lines and absolute stability. The new visio.lign facing system was designed according to the anatomical features of natural teeth. There are 15 anterior tooth molds, novoline A, and 6 upper and lower posterior tooth molds, novoline P. The veneers are available in the shades of the standard A to D shade system. The veneers are supplied in sets of 6, sets of 4 without canines, and also as sets of canines. Neoline fully anatomical teeth are ideal for fixed or removable prosthetics. They have a consistent shade and shape and are also fabricated from highly abrasive-resistant ceramic acrylic composite. Indications. The tailored material properties of the newly developed ceramic acrylic composite make the visio.lign system suitable for removable restorations. Facing crowns and bridges. Or fabricating clasp-retained chrome cobalt dentures with novoline veneers. Optimal aesthetics, a reliable bond, absolute shade stability, and enormous savings in time and cost are effectively coordinated, particularly in the case of implant-supported restorations. The veneer setup, choice of shape, shade, and tooth position ensure that planning of the restoration begins with a natural aesthetic arrangement of the teeth. A try-in to check the aesthetics allows patients to envision how the new restoration will look following fabrication. Case history. These reports were filmed in the Training Center for Dental Implantology and in an implantology dental practice in Nuremberg, Germany. The patient had opted for an implant-supported, operator-removable restoration. As there was a metal ceramic bridge in the lower jaw, the upper jaw was treated with a visio.lign ceramic acrylic composite bridge. Six sky implants were placed in the upper jaw. The patient was fitted with bilateral free-end implant-supported bridges in the lower jaw. The Sky implant system from Bredent Medical provides numerous prosthetic options using a variety of materials.
Also, Frau Pusch, wir haben verschiedene Möglichkeiten für die Versorgung eines zahnlosen Oberkiefers. Das sind einmal die feste.
The patient is shown different types of restorations during patient consultation. One option is a metal ceramic restoration with a gold framework. Another option is a framework fabricated using a lighter and considerably more cost-effective non-precious metal alloy faced with veneers. Patients are usually very surprised at the considerable difference in weight when they compare the two restorations in their hands. Both restorations are of high quality and are highly aesthetic. An impressive feature of a visio.lign bridge is its optimal oral comfort and the tissue-colored junction to the patient's gingiva. It is much more cost-effective than a metal ceramic restoration. Clinical preparation. Retention of the temporary restoration using ball attachments ensures optimal oral comfort. The gingiva formers and ball adjustments are removed, and impression abutments are screwed in for taking a closed impression. The screw accessors are sealed with wax. A one-step putty wash closed impression is taken. Transparent persiform impression trays prove very useful for taking the impressions. Detailed areas are syringed with low viscosity addition cured impression material. The high viscosity material is then inserted using the tray and presses the low viscosity material into all the detailed areas. The impression must be disinfected before pouring the model. Impression abutments are then screwed onto the implant analogs and repositioned. The junctures from the impression material to the laboratory analogs are smoothed with wax. Separating agent is then applied as a gingival mask is to be fabricated. Gingival mask is applied using multi-sil mask. The separating agent prevents the silicon bonding to the impression material. The gingival mask is fabricated from either hard or soft material depending on the type of restoration. The impression abutments are removed and the ball attachments and gingiva formers are fitted for registering the bite. Separating agent is applied to the model and O-rings are placed on the ball attachments. A stable base plate is fabricated using light curing acrylic to retain the bite rim and the aesthetic try-in at a later stage. The relationship of the temporomandibular joint to the maxilla is registered with a face bow.
So, dann setzen wir ihn jetzt ein. Und dann dürfen Sie ganz normal.
The ball attachments provide excellent retention for the base plate during bite registration. The wax bite is taken with a temporary restoration in situ. The midline, smile line, and canine position are transferred to the wax rim when registering the bite. Tooth shade, shape, and size are jointly selected by the patient, dentist, and dental technician. When determining the tooth shade, patients place great importance on being involved in selecting the tooth shade. Veneer Set Up. The models are mounted on an articulator in the laboratory. Information registered on the bite rim is transferred to the models. The bite rim is then removed from the base plate, which is now used as a base for the wax-up of the aesthetic try-in. The mutually selected tooth shade and shape are the basis for determining the design using the residual dentition and physiognomy. The veneers can be customized by grinding before setting up the anterior dentition. The veneers are set up on the base plate using tooth-colored wax, for example, Beauty Set Up wax from Brident. Beauty wax is available in 2 shades to ensure a natural effect of the aesthetic try-in. An aesthetic try-in can be fabricated quickly and easily with the visio.lign system, eliminating time-consuming grinding of teeth. Aesthetic try-in. The temporary restoration is removed after determining the distance between the upper dentition and the bottom of the nose and chin.
Mal öffnen, bitte.
An aesthetic try-in is very important for the patient, dentist, and dental technician, as they can very accurately assess the aesthetic effect of the planned restoration with the aid of the original veneers. The NovoLine veneers are transferred from the aesthetic try-in directly to the permanent restoration during laboratory fabrication. A checklist is used to ensure all important parameters are correct. These include tooth access, smile line, and midline. Is the occlusal height correct? Do tooth shape and shade match the patient's face? What is the overall impression? The most important aspect aesthetically, however, is that the try-in with the original veneers ensures that there are no unpleasant surprises at a later stage. This results in a very high degree of patient satisfaction. Laboratory fabrication. Visio.lign, a transparent silicon, is used to fabricate an index for retaining the position of the veneers and transferring the setup to the permanent restoration at a later stage. A UVE universal connector is used so that the bridge is operator removable. The UVE abutments are screwed on and checked in a parallelometer. Straight or 15-degree angle abutments are available. The UVE abutments are marked according to their position in the dentition to avoid any mix-up. The position is marked on the labial surface of the abutments and indicates the correct intraoral position for the dentist. The respective titanium copings are placed on the UVE abutments and screwed in position. The wax-up copings have a defined adhesive gap and eliminate the need for customized fabrication of copings. The available space is then checked using the silicon index. The veneers are removed from the aesthetic try-in base plate, cleaned, and placed in the index. Using preformed wax aids greatly facilitate waxing up the framework. The framework pattern follows the palatal contour of the veneers. When waxing up the framework, a gap of approximately 0.3 millimeter should be allowed for the opaque and adhesive gap for bonding the veneers. The position of the veneers established by the aesthetic try-in also ensures that the dimensions of the framework pattern are optimal and that they meet the aesthetic and phonic requirements of the patient. Retention beads aid the acrylic metal bond at a later stage. The framework was cast in a chromium cobalt alloy and finished. The UVE titanium copings are sandblasted with 110 micron aluminum oxide. Primer is then applied to the titanium copings and framework. The framework is first bonded with one UVE abutment on the model to ensure the correct position is obtained intraorally. The titanium copings are screwed onto the UVE abutments intraorally. When fitting the framework, the bonded titanium coping reliably guides the framework into the correct position. The framework is removed. The titanium copings are placed in situ, conditioned with primer, and coated with chemically cured adhesive. The titanium copings ensure that the framework is fitted in the optimal position without pressure. This guarantees a completely passive fit of the framework structure on the implant. The basal openings of the UVE copings are sealed with silicone, and the framework is sandblasted with 110 micron grit size aluminum oxide at 2.5 bar pressure. Metal primer is now applied. To ensure that the facing is durable and has a stable shade, it is essential to use a high-quality opaque. Combo line opaque is dual curing, which guarantees full polymerization. The framework should be coated with opaque before bonding the veneers. The opaque should be applied in several stages and polymerized to ensure optimal masking of the framework. The opaque layer should be polymerized with a light curing unit following each application. The Novoline veneers are then roughened by sandblasting with 110 micron grit size aluminum oxide at 2 to 3 bar pressure. Sandblasting over the margins of the veneers saves conditioning them again at the finishing stage or when customizing the veneer with Cree line.